everybody, this is Suki the Brown-Eyed Stitcher. This is Flosstube number 9, and I actually looked that up, so I know that it's right. This is the middle of April. That I don't remember what date it is. It's the middle of April. Happy April, everybody. I know a whole bunch of you guys have snow. I don't have snow. It's actually a very beautiful, like 75, 80 degree weather right now. It's very lovely. But I did drive through some fantastic weather recently. Okay, but we'll talk about that later, I'm sure. So I have my piles. You were all so very kind about all my technology and then subsequent like brain dripping out of my ears with my last video. So I can't promise that won't happen again today. Maybe not for technology reasons, but just for other reasons. But I have all my piles, so hopefully I won't forget anything. I also have both my dogs in here with me, and one of them likes to bark at puppy friends that pass by, so we may have to do some creative editing because she's loud and you don't need to hear that. Okay, stitching. So I'm first going to show you my masterpiece. There's not been a lot done because I had like maybe 2 or 3 days after my last Flosstube video before I went on a trip, and then I've only stitched 2 days on it since then. So most of the last 2 weeks have been taken up with a trip. So I still have a fair amount of projects to show you, just not like a ton of progress on a lot of things. So this first one is Super Size Max Color Treasure Hunt Bookshelf, artwork by Amy Stewart, charted by Heaven and Earth Design, and I am stitching on this second bookshelf right now. And yes, I'm already considering what my next super size is going to be. I have 2 options, one of which is a pattern I already have. It's the same, like, I think it's actually more stitches than this one is. But it's a tilt and craft chart. So I might do that one next, or it might be another Amy Stewart one that I've had my eye on forever, which a lot of you guys are stitching, and you guys keep showing me pictures and telling me about it, and I just fall in love with it a little more each time. And that's Once Upon a Fairy Tale. And I don't even know why I'm considering my next supersize max color, because I'm not going to start another huge one until this is finished, which won't be over 2 years from now. What can I say? I dream. I dream all the time. Okay, this is done on 28 count, easy count by Zweigart, 2/1, 10 stitch. Yep, okay, that's all. That's all the info. So I was like, I had a lot of this part done, I think, last time. And now I've been working down. This is a lot of black, which has been nice, easy stitching. This is some flowery stuff. I think it might be a bigger, part of a bigger plant that goes off over here. I'm not really certain. I mean, I kind of don't look until, except during these videos. I'm dropping stuff. So there, I've only put in 2,194 stitches since you saw it last, and it's at 37.17%. There's all of the shelf. Ta-da! It's beautiful. if I do say so myself. Okay. Thank you, Amy, for your lovely artwork. I love it. I love so many of Amy's pieces. For sure. Okay. Next up. Oh, there was something I was going to say about that. Oh, I get questions about things. Okay, I just started and already my brain is like... So, on Treasure Hunt Bookshelf, it is my daily focus piece. I've said that before. I stitch at least 500 stitches on it a day, except for the very, very rare day that it's so busy or I have a migraine and I just can't do it. Whatever it is. And the actual number I need in order to finish by my goal date is something like 439 stitches or something like that. I can't remember, and it's on my phone, which I'm using to record this. So I need something like 440 stitches. Let's just go with that. But I stitch at least 500 because of days when I know that I'll be gone. It gives me a little bit of leeway, so I don't feel like I have to make up for those days. So that is, words exist. My kind of hope is that eventually I'll do enough 500 plus days that daily number will knock down to 400, in which case I will decrease my daily goal from 500 to probably like 450, something like that. I always want to make sure my daily goal is above the number that it actually is, so that on days when I can't stitch on it, I don't feel like I have to make up for it. I've been preparing for it the whole time. So that's how I came to my goal of like 500 stitches. Sometimes when I'm nearing a percentage, I get very excited when I'm close to a percentage. It's a milestone and I get to share it in a different way than I normally do. And so sometimes the last couple days before, when I see that I'm getting close, I might stitch a little bit extra just to reach it a day sooner, because I like it. Anyway, next up, I pulled out the Twisted Band Sampler by Northern Expressions Needlework. You can get their patterns on Etsy. And they have two that are very similar. They're kind of sister patterns. The other one's the Twisted Rainbow Sampler, Rainbow Band Sampler. I can't remember. One of those two. I plan on doing it one day. Also on black fabric. This is 32 count black Belfast linen. And I love it. And that's where I'm at. And yeah, I didn't think about the hole you can see through this. There we go. Okay. So what is super cool about this piece, if you've never done specialty stitches, is that you have both regular crosses and you've got specialty stitches. So these are normal crosses, and then these are all different specialty stitches. I forgot to print out, I was going to show something. I didn't. The instructions are very clear. I talked to a couple of you about this. The instructions are very, very easy to follow, but even if you find them confusing to follow, I am positive that there are tutorials out there that will show you. And if not, I'm new at specialty stitches, but if I've done it, I can figure these out. So if I've done it and you need help figuring it out, I'm happy to throw something together for you. But you've got, I think I had some of these done before, and now I'm on this third one. And then when I'm finished this color, it will switch to a different color, and then the specialty is worked opposite. So there's going to be this one, and then this one, and then that one. And then it goes back into another band of the cross stitches, which will be this butterfly band. I am so excited to keep working through this. And I am aware I have not forgotten you. Two of you have asked to see this as a stitch with me. Alara and Liz, cross stitch Liz, both of you. I will do it. I'll do it. I will make sure that it's on a specialty stitch one as well. So, it's on my list. This just hasn't happened because of my trip. Everything kind of got, you know, things get put on hold because of that. Oh, I was going to say, I'm like 17% done now. 17? I meant 2%, 2.7%. Apparently, writing things down and having them placed all around you doesn't mean that your brain is going to really work out. Hey, you want to come say hi? Elisar, come here. Come. She's like, I want to say hi, but there's too much stuff around you. Do you want to come say hi? Come here. Oh, but they can't see you. Want to come up? She's trying so hard. There you go. Say hi. Say hi to my friends. There you go. This is Elisar. Elisar is a name from the Lord of the Rings. It is one of Aragorn's names. Okay, nobody, you just want everyone to see you instead? She's a golden doodle. She's 3 years old, 3.5 now. And she needs another haircut. They can't see your eyes. Okay, I have to keep going now. Oh, there's a thread here from Twisted Band Sampler. Hi. Okay, so she'll just be here for a little bit. The next, then I went on my trip, and I told you I was going to take like 6 pieces because I didn't know what I was going to want to stitch on. I will tell you what I learned is that when I'm traveling, I really just need to make sure I have something with very few colors. My favorite was working on just one color. And so in the future on trips, I will probably only take 1, maybe 2 projects, and it'll just be like a monochrome or something. That worked out best, but I pulled this out. This is Peaceful Garden Path by Sunset. It's a very old kit that I got from my mother. It says 1991, so it's not as old as I am. So maybe I shouldn't say that it's a really old kit. Excuse me. And that's what it looks like. I put in this purple here And then I worked up here with the ivy. Oh, I did this cloud as well. Actually, on my trip, this was what I did. And I didn't put these in until later. So far, my favorite part is this rose arbor. But I'm really looking forward to how all of this is going to look once I get back stitching in. This whole piece really needs the back stitching. And I don't mind back stitching. I like doing it. I like really seeing the details come to life. There is like a hair now, right here. Thank you. That's yours, Elisar. One of the other things I did, I'll say this before I pull out my next project. When I got back from my trip, so on my trip I worked on like 4 different projects, I think. Maybe 3, I can't remember. Oh my gosh. There's like hair now like blowing. My windows are open. Okay. So I worked on maybe like 3 or 4 projects on my trip. I still stitched every day, just not very much at times. I'm pulling hair out of... Okay. And then when I got back on this last Sunday, April 10th, it was the 100th day of the year. And I had this idea before, but I didn't say anything because I didn't know if I was still going to be driving back from my trip or not yet. So some of you want a heads up next time I do something like this. But I decided to stitch on as many projects as I could that day and reach 100 stitches. And then because I don't want to leave like random threads, I decided to just like finish that section with thread or finish the thread out, like whatever. I just finish it out so that nothing was hanging. And that was fun. I only got to 4 projects that day, which is why I'm bringing this up now, because most of the rest of the ones I'm showing you are ones I stitched on for that. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Am I missing one? I thought I stitched on 4, but now I'm only seeing... Oh, I did. Wait. I'm really confused. It doesn't help I can't look on my phone because I'm using it to film. Okay, anyway. I didn't get to very much because it was a very busy day and I had meetings and dance practice and classes. I had a bunch of stuff to do. But it was just a really nice way to kind of do something unusual. Oh, go on. To do something unusual, to touch a lot of different things, and I wish I could have done more, but I didn't. Wasn't able to. But this is one. I stitched this both on my trip and as part of the 100th day celebration. I did not do any metallic yet, so I like to do that last within the section that I'm doing. So I haven't done it yet. But I was working in through here. I was finishing up the fish. These 2 are finished except for the metallic stripe in the middle. So I was finishing this fish and I just finished the thread out like in these other fish and then up in the mermaid. So let's see if I can... Oh, folding. Someone's brilliant today, but it's not me. So this fish is finished. And so is this fish. This fish is still missing a few colors. And then this is the mermaid and her hair. I think that's a flower, and that's her tail, because she comes down like this and then the tail comes up and splits into her two fins. Her tail has a lot of the metallic in it. That is the... Oh, did I even tell you what this was? Under the Sea, Stitch Along from 2017. By Lakeside Needlecraft. Designed by Doreen Jones. I know you can still get the pattern. Yep, that's all I gotta tell you about that. Oh, it's on the fabric. It's 18 count Ada by Fabric Flair, and it was dyed as part of the Stitch Along thing. Somebody left the sweetest comment on my last video. She said I was so organic, which I promise you, you will always get my truest self. And I'm not about to apologize for it. Like, if my brain is bad, if it's particularly bad, I might apologize, but this is me. Alright, I did Woodland Enchantress by Gold Dimensions, or Dimensions Gold Collection. It is artwork by Ruth Sanderson. As far as I know, there's not one for every kind of season, and I wish there was, but there is an autumn fairy, so I really want to do that one as well. But if there were one from every season, I would do them all. This is... I only did this for the 100 days. I didn't work on this on my trip. So, this got just over 100 stitches. What I did was I finished up this block and I did most of that block. Ta-da! I really do enjoy working on this one. But I find it takes a little bit more brain power. Probably, well, I don't know why. So this is about 17% finished. It's on whatever the kit fabric is. 16 count? 18 count? 16 count. Gray Ada. Right. This project, why do I feel like I'm missing one? I'm not. I don't think. Okay. Cirque de Carreau. I apologize if any of you are French speakers. This is by Ink Circles. That means Circus of Tiles. And it is so fun because all these tiles are different. Only the very, very smallest ones are repeated. I'm using this beautiful silk. It is PR090 from Silks for You. It's so pretty. This is a half hank. Just in case you wanted to know how much a half hank looks like, that's what this is. And this, oh my goodness. This is on 32 Belfast Linen in Stormy Night. There we go. Done with the Silks for You. Ta-da! Okay. It is so pretty. So, so pretty. Here we go. I don't know if that's gonna show through or not because I can't both. Yay! I adore working on this piece because it feels like multiple colors because it's a variegated thread, but it's just one thread. There we go. So yes, I love working on this. It's so fun to look at each section and decide how I'm going to approach it. For example, we have a tile here, but part of that is this own tile. So I decided to stitch this tile as one, and so this one I only stitched this part and then went in the center. And then you can see at this big one, I've got this, and then I stopped because there's a similar tile that will be here. Just like that. And then I came back down. One thing that was fun, I didn't plan it this way, is that we've got the teal and then the purple and the purple. Like I said, I didn't plan that, but I like how it turned out. Somebody asked for Alicia, Adventures of Stitching on Instagram. She wants me to do a stitch with me on this one as well. She asked me how I plan to go about it, or if it's just to go with the flow with the variegated floss, and it's kind of both. I do a bit of planning, but not too much. And I try to just go with it. I guess I plan certain aspects and not other aspects is what I do with that. Okay, for some reason I feel like there was another project I worked on as part of my oh, there was 4. Peaceful Garden Path was part of my 100 day. And Under the Seesaw and Woodland Enchantress and Cirque de Courant. I did those 4 as part of my 100 day celebration. And then yesterday I pulled out the Summer Garden by the Drawn Thread. Which looks like that. Or will look like that. This one is also one of those that has cross stitch and specialty stitches in them. And actually I think I can show you what instructions look like, because it's very similar with Northern Expression needlework in how they have diagrams like this, so that you can see, like, some of these are in letters and some are in numbers, but you can see how you're supposed to stitch them. Okay, but I just needed some nice stitching because I had an appointment that kind of threw me for a loop with some cautionary advice I received, so I needed just some calm stitching while I allowed my emotions to roller coaster. Some of this is so hard to see on here. Okay, so what I stitched was, I finished in, hold on, puppies? Eleazar. Okay, I stitched in these windows like that, I don't know, the blue gray color, whatever it's called. And then there's some green in and up through here. You can kind of see that. I stitched that. Then there is a orangey yellow color in the center of those white flowers. That's harder to see. You can kind of see them better up here. The one that's hard is in here. It's a dusty rose color, and it's the petals of these flowers, and then it's partially in through here. That one, you can't really see. That's hard to see whatsoever. It's even hard in person to see it. It just kind of blends in a lot with the fabric. But I think once the whole thing is done, you'll see it a little bit better. Seems like it. There's also going to be like vining back stitch throughout them. Which, you know, you can't really see through that picture because you just can't. Okay, this is done on a 32 count Belfast linen summer khaki, and it's the called for flosses, the needle point silks and the dinky dyes. And there's one more brand, but I haven't touched it yet. Silken colors. That's all I worked on in the last 2 weeks. So let's talk purchases, because I just got them like yesterday and today, and I haven't even opened this yet. So first, I talked about how I'm going to attempt to dye. Well, I will successfully dye, but I suppose what color it ends up, we'll see what it looks like. Anyway, I'm going to dye a fabric for my long dog sampler. I want it to be like a dark purple with a like silvery gray floss. So I got dye. I think, oh, there's still a sticker on here. You can't even see all of this. It says purple. Just purple. There we go. Literally went to the store this morning with my daughter and we got these. Believe it or not, she spent more time looking for her stuff than I spent looking for my stuff. I don't know if I've trained her well or if I should be proud. Anyway, so I think this purple is going to be too light for what I want. I don't think it's going to be quite the rich color that I want. The color that I want is the color that my hair is when it's freshly dyed, which is not right now. This is it's fine, but like, I've got all sorts of colors going on here. So I got the indigo, and I figured I will do mostly purple with a little bit of the indigo to hopefully bring the color down a little bit. That's my hope. We'll see. We'll see how that works. I don't know. I'm not an experienced dyer at all. So I'm just making this up as I go along. Literally making this up as I go along. The other thing I got, I haven't opened it yet. It is from 123 Stitch. And we pulled it out of my mailbox this morning. I know what is in here. I just haven't opened it. So, these mailers are like really hard to open. I mean, that's a good thing, right? That they're hard, that the sticky is sticky. Okay. So I had to make another order for 123 Stitch because I got a notification that this Gloriana that I was looking for was in stock. It is Deep Sea Blue Gloriana, and it is so pretty. So I had a notification that was in stock, but of course I'm not going to pay like whatever, the $3 whatever shipping without ordering anything else. So, if you remember, I got this pattern the last time I also had to order some floss. And I needed something to go in the package with it. And so I got the fox. But I didn't get the flosses that the fox needed. Which is, it uses DMC, but it also uses Gentle Arts, Simply Shaker sampler threads. It uses burnt orange. Isn't that so pretty? And chalk, which probably isn't really showing up very well on camera. It's not just, it's gonna look white, but it's got a bit of like blue to it. But of course, that wasn't all I was going to get, because who can just get some floss when they're ordering? So I got the swans. And it was a good thing that I was talking about this last time, because there was at least one of you who hadn't heard of A Year in the Woods yet. So here's the two winter ones that we have available to us. And my plan is to stitch all the seasons together in a row on the same fabric. So the 12th one will go here, and that won't be released for a while. 5 of them are out. And then that's going to be the middle, and that's going to be the edge. I'm sorry, there's so much glare because they're still in plastic. Won't that be fantastic? I love it. So, the swans uses this chalk one as well, which is why I got more. I got 2 of those. It also uses a one that's hard, the Grecian Gold. I have heard from other people that one's hard to get right now. So I didn't get that one, but that's okay because I'm not starting these soon. But look how pretty they are. The next one, obviously, that I'll order is a spring one. It'll be the Jackrabbit. And, I mean, you guys saw that coming, right? As soon as I said I had to order this one. Because when something is out of stock for a long time and all of a sudden it's in stock, you have to order it. So you might as well get friends. My fabric for that probably won't arrive until, I have ordered it, but probably won't get it until June? Probably June, which is fine because I'm not starting it for a while. Okay, let's talk plans. So I have like little over 2 weeks until Mania. So my next video, I will talk all about my Mania plans. I will show you everything I plan on working on. But until Mania, I have zero idea what I'm going to stitch on. It's gonna be very busy over the next 3 weeks. So who knows? I will definitely be stitching on Treasure Hunt Bookshelf. Look, I've got this chart here. Well, my board. Let me bring it up here. Why am I missing oh, right here. Okay, you know what would be even better is a magnetic board. Okay, that's my daily piece. This and this and this. Granted, I've not touched it since. I should probably make another one anyway. Are focus pieces. And my other focus piece, y'all's favorite, because I forgot in my last video I needed to tally up the votes. So I did that. And it is Frodo and Galadriel. This one won by 1 vote, y'all. So that's also a focus piece. And I might just focus on those for the rest of the month. These five pieces. Frodo and Galadriel. I was going to say, so what I decided to do is, until I meet my goal on this piece for this year, this will be a focus piece as y'all's favorite. When I reach that piece on my next Flosstube video, following meeting my goal on this piece, I'll gather votes again for another y'all's favorite, which will be really interesting because that will be after Mania, probably, maybe, well, probably. And so you'll have a lot of pieces from which to choose from. It'll be interesting to see if a new winner comes out or if the runner-up to this one is what wins. And I'm not going to tell you what the runner-up was, just for fun. So this piece, my goal this year is 10,000 stitches. Time to figure out what it was that I'm saying, or what I wrote down. 10,000 stitches, and I'm halfway through that goal. So I have another 5,088 stitches to do on this piece. And it looks like, hold on, where is it? Here it is. This is artwork by Matt Stewart, and it's being stitched on 25 count. This is where it's at right now. I feel like I was doing kind of diagonal pages on this. I think. I'm not entirely sure. I hope that once I get on the... yeah, I think I am. So I think I've been working on this page up here, which comes down here. So I will get 5,000 more stitches on this. Not before Mania is over, though. So that's going to be a focus piece. My other focus pieces I have here, I said Under the Sea and Queen of the Night. Mayari. And then I feel like I have to organize my brain right now. Because now I have all of these piles, but I'm kind of losing track of things. Oh, and then I will do a Stitch with Me, probably with, well, we'll see. Maybe I'll do a Stitch with Me every week now, instead of just every other week. We'll see. But that will be with Twisted Band Sampler and one with Cirque de Carreau. And I need to dye my fabric purple before May. That'll be exciting. Oh! One more thing that I have to make decisions on. So this piece right here is adorable, but I have decisions I have to make about this. My daughter and I have decisions to make about this, and we keep talking ideas without actually deciding anything. So I want to use fabric I already have, and these are my choices. This is an Oatmeal Aida. This is the same one I'm stitching my temperature bookshelf on, which I didn't even show this time, so anyway, that's what it looks like. Maybe I should show this on it so you could kind of see. Another option is I have a 32 count Belfast linen in Evening Rose. So it's kind of a dusty pink. And then I've got a 32 count Belfast linen. Apparently, I really wanted to try 32 count because both of these fabrics I bought like in 2017, 2018, like that time period. It's Blue Ice. It's called Blue Ice. So here's the thing though, is that right now he's blue. So him blue on this blue background I don't think would work very well. However, my daughter and I are also talking about maybe changing his colors. But like, it would end up being a lot of color changes. Kaylee, I love your chart. I really do. So, I don't know. I think it's because, okay. Start over. Alright, so gold is not really my color. And so having like yellows and golds like that, they're not my favorite. I'll stitch them, or I could change them. So we were talking about what color would we change those colors to be, and would we also change the mug? And then that got to talking about, well, what if instead of this blue, we kind of made him more like a teal or turquoise, like a dark teal turquoise colors, because we both really love those colors. But then if we did that, then wouldn't we need to change his beard to also be that? And once you start thinking of all of that, like, am I really thinking of doing like a complete color conversion on Kaylee's chart? Not really. I love the trees. And I love the stars, except, you know, that's that one, whatever color, because I think it's the same color as either this or this. Anyway, it's okay to tell me I'm being ridiculous, y'all. But I'm also open to what you think. Uh, like, should I just stitch this as is because it's adorable? And actually, I realized this is the wrong picture. This is a secondary charting, which I don't even have that charting. um, like, his nose was made more pink for Alara, and she's stitching that. Alara, I'm pretty sure I stole this picture from you because it was the first one I found. When I was printing these out, and I was kind of over printing things out. So his nose isn't quite as pink in my charting. I'm ridiculous, aren't I? I have no idea what I'm planning on doing with this, but again, May is in 2 weeks, and so I kind of need to figure this out. This is the last piece for me to really figure out. Otherwise, I have everything. I just have to dye the fabric for my long dog samplers, and I need to make choices about what I'm doing with Nomies. And then I'm ready for Mania. And I can talk all about that in 2 weeks. Yeah. Okay, you all are absolutely wonderful. There are 2 people that I have heard giving me shout outs, but I haven't watched their videos for it yet. One, because mostly, okay, the only reason is because I'm really behind because of my trip on my Flosstube videos. But the Rocking Stitcher, Jemima, I hear shouted me out. And Needleberry Stitcher, also, I hear sent some people my way. So thank you, ladies. And who else? Stephanie at So Glover Creations. Also, and I did just watch yours like a couple nights ago. Last night? I don't know anymore. So I saw that one. You are all the sweetest people. I am not very good about doing shout outs, but mostly because I forget to write them down, and then I don't. But I wanted to say thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your comments and your thumbs up, and for visiting me again and putting up with my organic mess that this is. What else? I think that's it. And if it's not, there's another video. If you want to see my daily progress on what I stitch, you can follow me on Instagram, The Brown-Eyed Stitcher. I post every day because I stitch every day. And if you have any questions, comments, I have 4 videos that I know of that I need to do that have been requested. If you have requested a video and it's not one of these 4, please message me or something, comment, because it means I didn't write it down, and that was my failure. So, 2 stitch with me's that I've talked about. The fabric dye video where you can watch me freak out about what I'm doing so that you don't have to freak out when you attempt to dye your first fabric. And a video on tent stitching, because I get so many questions about that, and I have finally figured out a way that shows some of the things that I try to explain with words. So that one is definitely a priority to answer some of those questions for you girls. and guys and adults, people. Okay, friends. Happy stitching. Love to you all.